Pablo, finally. I mean, what took him so long? It's absolute madness that he didn't think that perhaps it'd be really good in terms of my own PR, but in terms of my own well-being and my mental health, to potentially maybe go and see your father, or maybe take the children there, the grandchildren, because it's important.
So often with these stories, I find myself asking the same question, which is that forget what is kind of right or wrong. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but just from a PR perspective, I do often look at these things and think, who's advising them? Who's giving them this advice? I will say, though, to defend them, which is that, they left their royal duties, 5 or 6 years ago. Look at the sleaze and scandal from the royal family since then. I mean, when they walked away, it was seen as they were the embarrassment. But I mean, 6 years on, we've had, cash in suitcases from Qatari politicians, £1 million from bin Laden's half-brothers. I mean, there's nothing illegal, but there's a lot of very odd things going on, and that is before we get to everything that happened with the former Prince Andrew. So,
yeah, but I will say the Prince Andrew thing happened well. I mean, this is regurgitating stuff that happened a long time ago. So I don't know whether that sort of translates alongside this. Do you see what I mean? Because really, we're kind of focusing on why he, maybe took so long to deal with, at least allowing his children to spend more time with, the wider family and all the mud that they've thrown. I get it, there's been scandals, but, does he need to add to them? Does he need to make it look worse? And what he did, even if you have those scandals, one thing about them is nobody really threw anybody under the bus. He's thrown his family right under it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, at the end of the day, he's got a family to protect, right? So his first job is to protect his family. And if he decides, or, they decide together that that is not an environment that they want to grow up in. And I think, it's easy for us to look at this because we don't live in that environment. But, when you look at what he went through, both him and his brother in the early years, with the death of his mother and all the scrutiny they got, I can see objectively that you might look at that and think, do you know what? I don't want my kids going through that. I don't want my family anywhere near that sort of stuff. And I do think, to be totally honest, I do think in the last few years they've been vindicated a little bit.
Really? In what way? What do you think that has happened that they've been vindicated for throwing the dirt on the royal family and also for allowing the Queen to go to her grave with an accusation of racism?
Well,
or
I mean,
what they call
all of that is it.
Or what they wanted to call it
unconscious bias,
point, sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm just saying, all of that is exactly the point, right? Is that the sleaze and scandal that has come out of the royal family in the last few years. I mean, listen, the royal family is part of our country, and I'm very proud of every part of our country, but we have to acknowledge that the royal family is far from clean. There's an awful lot that needs to be sorted out in that royal family. And we've seen that recently, right? Is that they're trying to kind of do a bit of a PR cleanup by releasing their tax records and all that sort of stuff. But there is so much that I can see. If you're a father like Harry, or, as a couple between them, you might look at all of the stuff that has happened in the last few years and think, do you know what? We were right to walk away from that. Because do you want your kids being around all of that stuff with the former Prince Andrew? I mean, that alone, right? I mean, there's all the other stuff that I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's Andrew, and that's gone many years previous, you know what I mean? It's all coming out now. But, what we're talking about, really, and we're talking about children here who don't know all that. They don't know any of that. They don't care about that. They just want love. They just want love from, they've got a wider family, which is what I believe the King, and I believe Camilla would have done the same, but, of course, he's the sort of blood grandfather. And we're not talking about that. What kids, keeping kids' minds fresh and allowing them to meet the wider family and understand, I think is very important. And he at least had that privilege when he was growing up and got to hang out with his grandfather. Look, Pablo, so sorry that we have to leave it there because I could talk to you about this for ages because I don't think we're going to agree, but it's fun. Pablo Ohana, thank you very much. He's a political strategist.
Hey, what details do we have about this get-together?
We don't have a lot of details about what actually happened during the meeting, and that is by design. This is really a test to see if both sides can keep this under wraps. I'm told by sources that this meeting was supposed to happen so much sooner. If you have aides talking to each other, the message gets muddied. You have grudges and differing points of view, which we saw with how the Buckingham Palace room fiasco was handled. It took a while to get this
on the book. So what are you
saying,
that it is now the palace just waiting to see if details of this meeting actually leak out?
Both ways, actually. I'm kind of stunned by the location of Highgrove because the Highgrove meeting between Camilla and Prince William when Charles and Camilla were dating was leaked to the press, and we know now that that was someone on Camilla's team that let that information get out. So I think both sides have a reason to be a little leery of each other. But overall, this is a positive step. I don't think after everything that's happened this week, people thought it was still on, but it happened. And I think it's just a great moment for a family.
So it's been announced from Buckingham Palace that King Charles met with Meghan Sussex and Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet finally after 4 years. Now, there's a lot to get through. I'm personally so happy that this family is making amends. They're healing and he's met his grandchildren after so long. I think he's met Prince Archie once when he was a baby, but 4 years. The sad thing is that actually, whether Meghan and her children are photographed, if they are, then she's courting publicity. If she's not, then you see comments like this, where they then disbelieve that it even happened. They're angry if they see Meghan, and they're angry and disbelieving if they don't see Meghan. There's actually no winning with these ghouls. It's disgusting. Let this family be together and feel some happiness for them. Your family may be broken up. We know this family is dysfunctional, but let them heal. Let them be together. Without your absolute, look at these comments. Oh, it didn't happen. The kids aren't even his. Oh, it's a lie. It's just another. The confirmation has come from Buckingham Palace. Stop this.
Hello squaddies, happy Monday to you all and thanks for joining me today. Your support means a lot to this channel. Let's first begin with crucial matters surrounding this reunion story. Buckingham Palace out here leaking details about a secret reunion between Charles and the Sussexes is the ultimate definition of messy. They expect us to believe that Harry and Meghan, the same couple that keeps their circle tighter than a bank vault, are the ones running to the British press to dish on a private family meeting. Give me a break. We all know the drill by now, squaddies. When Harry and Meghan actually have news to share, they do it properly. They use their official spokesperson, they put out a clean statement, and they control their own narrative. They don't slide into the DMs of tabloid reporters. Meanwhile, the palace and their toxic army of courtiers are practically famous for whispering to the press. They drop inside information like confetti, then look around completely innocent like they didn't just cause a media circus. Regular people look at this and see right through the setup. The palace tries to play the victim, acting like they're trying to build bridges in private, while their PR team is working overtime in the background leaking the blueprints to the daily papers. It is pure hypocrisy. Harry and Meghan are trying to protect their peace and their kids, while the institution is just desperate for a headline to make themselves look good. You can't claim you want a private family moment when you're literally briefing the press before the tea even gets cold. Now let's talk about the vile Nana Akua. Squaddies, when did television commentators start handing themselves honorary parenting degrees? Somewhere along the line, people like Nana Akua decided they know Archie and Lilibet better than the actual mother and father raising them. Let's call it what it is. It is pure obsessive harassment. It is Nana getting on TV, screaming, throwing a tantrum and acting like a total bully because Harry and Meghan choose to protect their kids. She's out there acting like she's the ultimate parenting authority, treating Harry and Meghan's family decisions like they're up for a public vote in a TV studio. It is wild. That is like sitting in the cheap seats at a stadium, grabbing the referee's whistle and declaring yourself Coach of the Year. You aren't even on the field, lady. If a stranger on your street started publicly grading your parenting, obsessing over where your kids sleep and criticizing how you keep them safe, you'd call the cops. But because it's Harry and Meghan, Nana thinks she gets a free pass to make a living off of being completely vile. Parenthood doesn't run on public consensus or tabloid approval. Harry and Meghan are keeping their kids safe, happy, and out of the toxic media circus. Nana and the rest of the talking heads are just mad they can't get close enough to exploit them for clicks. They want the kids for their front pages, but the Sussexes said no access, and the press is throwing a massive, embarrassing fit because they can't control the narrative. Keep protecting your peace, guys. The haters are just yelling at a wall. Let's educate these trolls for a second. Harry isn't just ducking bad headlines out here. He is completely throwing the old royal rulebook in the trash and writing his own from scratch. The old royal playbook is simple. You swallow your feelings, you protect the institution, and you constantly stress about how you look on the front page of tomorrow's papers. But Harry flipped the script. He stopped asking what the press wanted to see and started asking one basic question: what is actually best for my wife and my kids? That is a massive tectonic shift. And let's be real, breaking generational cycles and walking away from old habits is never going to sit well with the people who are actively benefiting from those exact same toxic rules. That is why every single time Harry makes an independent choice, the palace and the press completely lose their minds and drop another round of fake outrage. It is like when you finally decide to set healthy boundaries with toxic family members or step away from a miserable family business to do your own thing. The people who used to control you get absolutely furious because they can't use you as a shield anymore. The media wants Harry to play the game, so they have their punch back, but he chose to be a real husband and a real father instead of a royal prop. He's out here protecting his family's peace, while the institution is stuck running an outdated system that forces people to look perfect while suffering behind closed doors. Harry chose real life over a fake script, and that is the ultimate win.
Here is the absolute funniest part about this whole situation, squaddies. The exact same talking heads who spend years shouting, they need to go away, keep the kids out of the spotlight, give us some privacy, turn into full-blown FBI detectives the second Harry and Meghan actually keep family matters private. Suddenly, these commentators are losing their minds. They want flight coordinates, they want daily calendar updates, they want the surprise visits and private family reunions explained in real time on a live television panel. Make it make sense. That isn't respecting privacy, that's treating Harry and Meghan like a reality TV series where they're mad the producers forgot to air the next episode. It's like that nosy neighbor who complains that your music is too loud, but the second you go quiet, they're peeking through your window trying to see what you're cooking for dinner. They don't actually want you to go away. They're just mad they don't have front row tickets to your life anymore. The press needs Harry and Meghan to be messy so they can print their trashy headlines. When the Sussexes pull the curtains closed and live a peaceful, private life, the media panics because the content well has run completely dry. They don't want the privacy they preached about. They're just suffering from major withdrawal because Harry and Meghan cut off the supply. Have you noticed how the loudest opinions out here always come from the absolute furthest seats in the stadium? It is wild, squaddies. The people talking with the absolute most confidence on TV are the exact same ones who have zero clue what's actually happening. They get behind a microphone and speak like they've got a permanent reserved seat at Harry and Meghan's dinner table. But in reality, they are just piecing together random fan fiction from old television debates, sketchy anonymous tips, and yesterday's expired headlines. They are trying to bake a whole cake with absolutely no ingredients. It turns out the loudest microphone usually comes with the worst perspective. This is like that one co-worker who sits 3 departments over, has never even spoken to you, but somehow knows exactly why you took a sick day and who you're dating. They talk with so much authority, but they're completely out of the loop. The media needs to pretend they have the inside scoop, because if they admit they're totally locked out, nobody is going to tune in to watch them guess. Harry and Meghan have built an absolute fortress around their piece, leaving these talking heads stranded outside in the parking lot. They are screaming through a megaphone from 3 miles away, completely clueless, while Harry and Meghan are just living their lives, staying unbothered and letting the noise fade out. For decades, royal life has been measured by how well you smile for the cameras, how many hands you shake at ribbon cuttings, and how perfectly you play your role for public expectation. But Harry completely flipped the board. The ultimate plot twist is that he chose actual peace over a lifetime of forced performance. Instead of staging his family life for the paparazzi and the palace press pack, he decided to actually live it, entirely away from them. And honestly, that is exactly why the royal commentariat is having a massive meltdown, trying to guess what he's going to do next. They are completely lost because Harry is no longer reading from the dusty script they memorized 30 years ago. Regular people look at this and get it instantly. It's like when you finally quit that high-paying, soul-crushing job where everyone pretends to be a big happy family, and you move out to a quiet spot to just breathe and focus on your real life. The people you left behind in that toxic office cubicle get absolutely furious. They'll call you crazy, they'll say you failed, but really they're just mad because you had the guts to walk away from the machine. The media wants the performance because the performance pays their bills. They need Harry to put on the royal costume and act a fool so they can write their trashy articles. But Harry said, "Nah, I'm good," packed his bags for California and chose to be a real dad under the palm trees instead of a prop under the flashbulbs. He threw away a fake crown to build a real life, and the critics are just yelling at an empty stage. This is the ultimate mic drop point right here, squaddies. One side is spending an enormous amount of energy trying to predict what Harry and Meghan are going to do next, while Harry and Meghan are spending that exact same energy actually living their lives and getting stuff done. While these royal commentariats are holding emergency panel discussions over random internet rumours, the Sussexes are out here making family memories, hitting up film festivals for their new documentaries, and launching huge media projects. They are moving forward on their own timetable, completely unbothered by the noise. That is exactly why one story keeps evolving, while the other story just repeats itself on a loop. One side is busy writing the next chapter of their lives, and the other side is still stuck rereading the introduction from 5 years ago. It's hilarious. It's like watching a group of people stand outside a house guessing what's for dinner, while the people inside are already finished dessert and washing the dishes. The media is running a multi-million-dollar guessing industry built on pure air. They are totally stagnant, completely trapped in the past. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are in the future. They are building a legacy, launching fresh brands, and keeping their eyes on the prize while the haters are still trying to figure out how they got left behind. One side is doing the work, the other side is just doing the talking, and the results speak for themselves. Thank you all for watching. I am your host, Miles. If you're sick of the media games and love seeing the receipts dropped, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments.